How many ways are there to get to God? How many ways are there to have salvation? There are many people out there that say, there are many pathways, many roads that lead to God. It doesn't matter what religion you are. They're wrong. Yep, I said it. They're wrong. Jesus said in John 14 verse 6, I am the way, the truth, the life. No one comes to the Father except by me. That's not what we're talking about today. We're going to go over to Hebrews chapter 10. In Hebrews chapter 10, it talks about how in the Old Testament, they had the sacrifices day after day after day. And it says in verse 4, it is not possible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away the sin. So you see, the Old Testament, although God required those sacrifices, that's not really what he wanted. It says in verse 5 that you don't want those animal sacrifices and sin offerings. He needed the body of a man, his son Jesus. In verse 6 or verse 9, it says that he, Jesus, canceled the first covenant in order to put the second covenant into effect. The second covenant is the covenant between Jesus, the Son, and the Father, because God's will for us was to be made holy by the sacrifice of the body of Jesus Christ once for all time. So you are made holy by the sacrifice of Jesus when you accept his sacrifice for you. And it says in verse 17, he says, I will never again remember their sins or lawless deeds. God will never again remember your sins and lawless deeds because of the sacrifice of Jesus, not because of anything you can do. When your sins are been forgiven, there is no need to offer any more sacrifices. So the sacrifice that Jesus made in his physical body was the only sacrifice and the last sacrifice that needs to be made. But sometimes you feel guilty, don't you? Because you done messed up again. Your guilty consciences have been sprinkled with Christ's blood to make us clean. But here's the thing. In verse 26, it says, dear friends, if we deliberately continue sinning after we have received the knowledge of the truth, there is no longer any sacrifice that will cover these sins. It's deliberate sin. Sometimes, yes, we mess up. But you're doing it, what is it? Oops, or is it you're deliberately doing it? Like if God has convicted you, don't do this, and you go and deliberately do it, don't do that. Don't do that. When you've been convicted of a particular sin, just don't deliberately go out and do it again. Just quit. Just quit sinning. That's all you gotta do. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you soon.